Now it's time for Bro Love Cast's Vig It Locks of the Week, brought to you by Vig It, a social network for the sports betting community. So Eggy, let's recap last week. Vig It had some locks with the college football bowl games.
Vig It had some locks. When I got on with Ryan Leaf of ESPN, we talked about 3 locks that Vig It had. They had Miami and Louisiana Tech, their bowl game. That game under 49.5 points. Check mark for Vig It, got that one right. Ian, what about Cincinnati-Boston College? Since he was -7, Vig It said take the Bearcats. They crushed BC. Check mark for that one. And then finally, we were all in agreement on this. Vig It said it. Ryan Leaf said it. We all said it. LSU over Oklahoma, -14. LSU trounced the Sooners. So Vig It, 3 for 3. You know what this comes down to, Ian? The Bro Love Cast Vig It partnership gets you money. So listen to it.
Cash Money Records.
Listen to it. Put your picks in. Vig It Bro Love Cast gets you cash.
Well, you saw what Vig It did for you last week. We're gonna try to give you our locks.
What have you done for me lately, Ian?
Yeah.
What will you do for me?
this week?
This
so
week.
You're gonna listen to this. You're gonna put the bets in, and you're gonna get money. Cash Money Records, where dreams come true.
5 games.
Dreams come true there.
5 games we got.
Let's start with the early game on Saturday, 4:35 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Vikings taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are favored by 7.
Absolutely. And I think when you have a Niners defense at home, it spells trouble for anybody, but especially with a Vikings offense who has a question mark in Kirk Cousins. Now, I would say in the locker room after the Vikings win, he pulled out the "you like that" much to the happiness of the Vikings locker room. He's a huge question mark, though. I will take the Niners defense at home anytime over that. Throw an Adam Thielen injury into that. In addition to Stephon Diggs missing practice, the Vikings are beaten up and they're battered heading into this game. Dalvin Cook needs to be the guy, and I'm not convinced that he can have a good game against this very stout Niners front line. I take the Niners covering in addition at home -7 over the Vikings.
Okay, so I will take the 49ers straight up. I think they can get the win, but Adam Thielen is questionable with ankle stitches. I think he'll end up being all right. But Kirk Cousins still has Stephon Diggs, who's an unselfish player, it turns out, who's on the sideline telling Kirk Cousins, don't worry about forcing it to me, just play your game. And they have Dalvin Cook. I think between the two, the Vikings can keep it close. That's a dynamic offense. They can put up some points on it, even a strong 49ers defense. So I take the 49ers straight up, but I take the Vikings to cover.
Vikings covering, all right. I pick Niners, Ian's got the Vikings. In the later game, we got my Baltimore Ravens, and everybody, I've really jumped on this bandwagon. Bro Love Cast, Ian, getting the press credential in the box at the Ravens game. Just kidding, my brother got tickets, and I'm going with him.
So keep in mind, Eggy grew up a Ravens fan.
Yes.
He had this Ravens pillow at an early age that kind of allowed him to be a fan, but he kind of lost his love with sports, and that's what the Bro Love Cast did for him.
Yeah.
Brought that love right back.
Lost to Ian. Some would say I lost my love for life. You know what I mean? But I got it back. So
baby.
I'm happy to. So we got Titans visiting the Ravens, and everybody. Why did Derrick Henry have such a great game the other day? I would say because he's an amazing running back. He's big as hell. He's a great running back. But the thing is, Bill Belichick, the way that he game plans for people, he will take one guy out completely and allow one guy to run roughshod. He's done that for years. He did not want A.J. Brown to go over the top. He wanted to stifle what Ryan Tannehill was doing. The Titans passed 16 times against the Patriots. They're going to pass a lot more versus the Ravens. Derrick Henry will not get over 100 yards versus the Ravens, and Tannehill will be stifled. The Ravens will run roughshod over the Titans, Lamar Jackson, and Mark Ingram. Ingram's missed a little bit of practice. They're going to get after it, baby. The MVP leads his team at home and gets ready for another team yet to come in this Sunday game. The Ravens not only beat the Titans, but they cover at home.
Ravens are favored by 9 points. That's a large spread in the NFL. It's an 8:15 p.m. game. Derrick Henry hooked up his offensive line with Rolexes after the win over the Pats.
Sick.
Pretty awesome. Derrick Henry, 303 carries for over 1,500 yards and 16 touchdowns in the regular season. Last week against the Pats, he had 34 carries, 182 yards, and a touchdown. So, the Ravens are averaging 33 points a game. Pretty good. Under Tannehill, as the starter for the Titans, They are averaging 6.9 yards per play, and they doubled their points per game from 16 to 30. So, I think the Titans can make this a close game. I think the Titans cover.
Okay, so you take the Ravens to win.
Ravens to
Titans
win,
cover.
Titans to cover. It'll be a closer game than people expect, but I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens get it done.
Yeah, I just think they're so damn explosive, man, especially in the red zone. Look out for the right Ravens tight ends to really get off on them as well. Fun facts, Ian, too, for you. 5 Heisman Trophy winners in this game, 3,000-yard rushers.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. It'll be a fun game. I can't wait to go tomorrow.
Will Ray Lewis come out of the booth for this game?
Dude, I don't know. I
could see him at least doing the dance onto the field.
Getting hot, getting so hot. That's what they play. They play the Nelly Hot and Her
Oh, dude,
when Ray comes out and he does his dance.
That's awesome.
Should I do it? I can get up and do it. We'll get it after. We'll do it after.
Go
All
ahead.
right. Those would be bonus material here after our Vig It picks. All right, so that's Saturday's slate of games. Going into Sunday,
We got the Texans versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 4.5. The game's at 3:05. Aggie, start us off.
well, this one's simple to me, Ian. You have a healthy Patrick Mahomes at home at Arrowhead. I said the Niners playing at home is big. I don't think, like people talk about Seattle, I don't think there's a tougher place to play than at Arrowhead, especially in a playoff game. The Chiefs are trending this way, and if, I'm going to pick them to not only win, but I'm picking them to cover, and I'm really kind of scared for the Ravens to host the Chiefs next week, which I think is going to happen. But yeah, they're just simply too much for a Bill O'Brien-led Houston team who has J.J. Watt, but he's playing with one arm. And Deshaun Watson is a very good player, but they're too erratic on offense. They're not going to be able to keep up with Mahomes' pace. I go Chiefs all the way on this, baby.
So, obviously, Texans have a very strong wide receiver core. They also have a quarterback that's able to escape some crazy situations, but it puts him at risk for some fumbles, some turnovers. So, Deshaun Watson played like Superman or the Michael Jordan of the NFL last week, but I don't think he can pull it off again against the Chiefs. I take the Chiefs in this one. And if you're an Eagles fan, there's only one thing left to do for you. It's to root for Andy Reid and the Chiefs.
Yeah, you got to. You were so bitter and resentful of him the whole time he was here.
No, we weren't.
Yes,
he had
you
some
were.
unbelievable magical
So many
years.
wonderful things for Eagles fans.
I'm a big Andy Reid guy. He's had a crazy life, ups
Yeah.
and downs. I hope he wins his first Super Bowl.
Seems like
this
a
year.
nice man.
He does.
Sometimes I look at him and say, what a nice man.
Big Red.
Yeah,
Big Red.
absolutely.
All right.
This last game.
Last game, Seahawks are underdogs to the Packers. The Packers are favored by 4. This game's at Sunday at 6:40. This should be an awesome game. I think the Packers get it done with Aaron Rodgers. I think the Seahawks, they didn't impress me much against the Eagles. Again, if Carson Wentz plays that game, the Eagles get the win, and they cover.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the Seahawks, not impressive, they were disappointing against the Eagles, to be honest with
For
you.
sure.
I mean, they looked flat. I would say their defense was very good, but you got to take that with a grain of salt and a big asterisk. I mean, again, I mentioned this earlier, they had 28 sacks on the year. They had 7 against a decimated Eagles offensive line. Now, credit to them, Jadeveon Clowney and others had a very good game, but this is the 22nd rush offense, or excuse me, 22nd rush defense in the league, in addition to that lackluster pass rush. There is no way, in my mind, that they're getting past the Packers. ESPN's got some next-gen stats for you, Ian. The Packers are number 1 in team pass blocking. And not only are the Packers number 1, but their tackle, David Bakhtiari, he's number 1. They identified him as the leading guy to win pass blocking in the NFL. There's no way that the Seahawks get past them. I take the Packers not only winning, but covering the spread against the Seahawks at home.
So the Seahawks did not give up a touchdown to the Eagles, but the Eagles field general, Carson Wentz, was knocked out of the game by Clowney with a very cheap shot, direct hit to the back of the head. So they didn't give up a touchdown, but they didn't give up a touchdown to a backup quarterback in Josh McCown, who honestly led the offense down the field a couple times on that defense.
He did, and if you are a Seattle Seahawks fan, I would really actually look to Aaron Rodgers as your ray of hope here. Despite the great Packers offensive line, Aaron Rodgers has had all the time in the world, and he hasn't had a good year. He's really struggled at times this year, which is very curious considering how talented he is. I would look to, Russell Wilson and those guys trying to figure something out. But I don't know how Seattle can get past the Packers. Even if Rodgers isn't doing well, you got a running back who's a 1,000-yard rusher, 16 touchdowns. I'd just go to him.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. The Seahawks are a little diminished at the running back position, but they can give the ball to Marshawn Lynch 15 times a game and see what he can do for him and throw in that other guy that nobody knows because he's the third string and give him a couple carries too. Yeah. But the Packers, playoff Aaron, I think they get it done. It's a 4-point spread. I think they cover.
Good. So to recap, we're both taking Packers to win and cover.
Yep. And the last thing we want to talk about here with our Vig It Locks of the Week is the College Football National Championship. We have the LSU Tigers favored by 5.5 over the Clemson Tigers. Clemson's not getting a lot of respect, Eggie. They are the returning champs. Can they do it again?
Yeah, I think this is going to be an absolute shootout. And ever since we had Ryan Leaf on the show, we've kind of pondered what he talked about. He is a Clemson Tiger guy. If they win this, it will have been Trevor Lawrence's 25th win as a starter. The guy has not lost. They would have had 30 in a row. I mean, that's pretty incredible. Both these teams are 14-0. And Clemson's defense, now, they played the Boston Colleges, the Virginias, and the NC States of the world. Those teams suck, all right? No one get that twisted.
Virginia had a big win.
They still suck. Come on. This is ACC football. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
We could go play Pee-wee football and find better teams than some of these teams. You know what I mean?
I'd relax.
Syracuse, get out of here, man. It's terrible.
I'd relax a little bit.
So the Clemson defense, they were giving up 10 points a game, pretty much, and 240 yards a game. Now, it's going to be a little bit different, a little bit of a difference. This is going to be an offensive showdown with LSU, who averages nearly 50 points a game, and Clemson 45 a game. Though, I do think that LSU is going to win this game. I'll save my pick for a moment. What I would tell you, listeners and viewers, is take the over on points. Right now, it's 69.5. It is an absolute lock that there are going to be more than 69 points scored in this game, all right? It's math, baby. 50 points and 47. It's going to happen, okay? Take the over on points.
You heard it here first. 69 is the magic number.
Yeah, it's going to be more than 69 points.
All right, so it's a showdown between Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. Probably the first-round picks for the next 2 years.
Which is
Joe
kind of
Burrow
cool.
This year, Trevor Lawrence next year. I think it's going to be a shootout. Now, Clemson returned a lot of players on offense. Mm-hmm. A dynamic quarterback wide receiver duo, an awesome offensive line that is known for their run game, and a great running back. So I don't think Clemson's getting enough respect. I think the spread should be smaller in this game. So I think people want LSU to win. The last national championship LSU won was in 2007. Yep. They had two others, one in 2003 and one in 1958. So I think the people want Joe Burrow and LSU to have this fairy tale ending. Sure. But I'm here to say the Clemson Tigers are going to get it done, baby.
Move out of the way, Corso. Here we go.
Let's go.
We got the Tiger head somewhere. I'm not sure where it is.
I'm going to put this on. But Eggie, who you got? Who you
put
taking?
it on. Put it on. You put on your Clemson jersey. Well, I picked the LSU Tigers because nobody is stopping Joe Burrow. Nobody is stopping Jefferson. Nobody is stopping Chase. If you don't know those guys, they're their top wide receivers. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to run all over Clemson. I mean, you're right. Clemson has a lot of guys returning. Trevor Lawrence, remember, he hasn't lost a game as a starter, and dear God, he ran away from the Ohio State defense the other day. He literally just sprinted by him. The guy could have been riding a horse. Travis Etienne, he's the ACC Player of the Year. T. Higgins is on the outside. Clemson is dynamic as it gets. Their defense is very good. But I'm telling you, they haven't played many people. They haven't seen an LSU offense in Joe Burrow, who just messed around and got 7 touchdowns in the first half the other day against Oklahoma. Look to them to air it out. They go to Jefferson. They go to Chase. Edwards-Helaire is going to be fully healthy. LSU, man. They win this. They cover. LSU Tigers are the national champions.
Wow. So we disagree a lot over this football weekend, which I think is good for the people.
yeah, we do. Do we agree on anything?
I don't know. Some underlying themes here. It's going to be a big offseason for the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Bro Love people, the Vig It people, and the rest of America will have to stop relying on the Pats to win bets. We've done it for years. It's been amazing. We've been able to just throw it on the Pats, and it's like an automatic dub. But we're going to have to live and learn. I think we're going to have a great weekend of football. and I think the Eagles will run it back next year, be in the playoffs, and have a shot at the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Well, Vig It, thank you for hosting the Bro Love Cast. This was the Vig It Pick of the Week.
That's right.
On a great football weekend. Looking forward to it, Ian.
Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and have a great weekend.